getting out of the restrict binge eating, yo-yo dieting, roller coaster cycle was by far the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. The most challenging thing I've ever had to do in my life, mostly because I was stuck in it for over 10 years. So when you have a habit of doing the same thing for 10 years, it's like you go on automatic. It's so easy to just repeat the pattern over and over again. And it took so much discipline and commitment to not falling into that cycle to get out of it. Like, I would not wish this vicious yo-yo dieting cycle on my worst enemy. But I want to go over in today's video how I finally got out of the yo-yo dieting cycle. My top tips if you're currently struggling with this, or if you know somebody struggling with binge eating and yo-yo dieting, and how to actually get out of the cycle from somebody who has been in that cycle for over 10 years. So I wrote some notes on my phone, so I'm gonna pull my phone up here. So if I'm reading, that's why. I just wanna make sure I don't forget anything important. But the first thing that I wrote down was accept that it's happened. Beating yourself up about it has never worked in the past. Guilt and shame keeps you in it. So basically, what I mean by that is if you've ever binge ate, you know the guilt, the shame. Like, I mean, I used to eat in secret. When everyone was sleeping, I would go downstairs. When I lived with my family, I would go in the pantry. I would eat in the pantry in the mother freaking dark, like trying to make the wrapper quiet. When I was in college, in my first year, I had a roommate and we literally lived in the same room. I've never told anyone this, but when she would leave, I would try to keep like all healthy snacks and she would have like more junk food. And when she would leave, I would literally steal and eat her food and then buy the food back and replace it. Like that's how bad it got. So anyways, you know how shameful it is when you are in that cycle, like how bad, how guilty, how awful you feel. Like you just feel like you're a disgusting person. At least that's how I felt, right? And every time I would beat myself up and just be like, stop doing this. Like, you are a piece of shit. Like, I would just talk so horribly to myself. But I thought that would help motivate me to make better choices. So, like, it wasn't for nothing. I thought that it was going to help motivate me to make the necessary habit changes that I need to. And what I realized was I've been beating myself up about this for over 10 years. If beating myself up about it worked, it would have worked by now. It would have worked by now. So clearly, being hard on myself is not the answer, because if it was, again, I would have results to show for it. I would be out of the yo-yo dieting cycle. So when I came to that realization, I was like, okay, so beating myself up doesn't work. Maybe I should learn how to be compassionate, understanding, and just get to the root of why am I doing this? Like, just be curious about it instead of judging myself. Let's be curious about, okay, like, why am I doing this? What's leading to this? And being curious instead of judgmental was truly a game changer that I don't even know how to, like, you don't really understand until you start practicing it. But when you start really just dissecting it, kind of like a psychologist, okay, what started this? My really restrictive dieting. Okay, so what are the triggers that happen that lead me to binge eat? I'm really emotional. I'm lonely. I'm not feeling fulfilled. I want distraction. Okay, interesting. So I noticed like all of these factors are what lead me to want to binge eat and just take my mind off of my present reality and indulge in food that just makes me feel better short term. Interesting. So food makes me feel better and I'm trying to escape these emotions. Is there anything else that I think would help me? Or is there anything else that I could even try to see if it soothes those emotions that I'm using food to solve? And because now I'm not thinking, oh, I'm the worst, I'm terrible, I'm gonna do better next time. I'm actually being solution oriented and I'm actually thinking in a productive manner. And because now I'm thinking in a more productive, logical, less emotional state, I can actually start implementing new habits that solve my binge eating, emotional eating problems. And I honestly can't believe it took me 10 years to realize this. But when we can be solution oriented instead of, oh my God, this is the worst thing, holy shit, I'm terrible, which does nothing, literally does not solve anything. When we can be productive oriented, that's when we actually get into problem solving mode. And that's actually when we solve our problems. It's not when we're like, you're bad. Oh my God, I can't believe you did this again. Again, that does nothing. And I didn't realize that till 10 years later. I go, why am I beating a dead horse? Like, this clearly isn't working. You know what I mean? So that realization alone of stop beating myself up, not because I don't feel bad. I do. But because it doesn't do anything. It doesn't solve your problem. And ultimately, I want this mother freaking problem solved. So I'm clearly going to need to utilize a new strategy to solve this problem. So that is my first tip. And hopefully that resonates with you, because I'm sure if you've gone through this cycle, you've been beating yourself up. But really reflect, like, where has that gotten you? To the same place. Back to binge restrict light. So we need a new tactic here. All right. So that's number one. Let's see. Technically I said for number two, I said get curious about why it happened. So technically I lumped 1 and 2 together. Oh, you know what was also very helpful? So I'm going to lump 4 and 5 together, which I wrote down: create a non-scale goal and work with your hunger. So let's start with create a non-scale goal. When you binge eat, you know you're going to be heavier the next day, whether it's water weight, extra sodium from the food you had, or genuinely body fat, you're going to be higher in weight. And seeing that increase in weight is so discouraging, and all it does is makes you want to continue to binge eat. So you weigh yourself, you gained weight, you're discouraged. Negative emotion. What do you want to do when you feel negative emotion? You want to eat your feelings. Vicious cycle. Then you gain more weight. Again, when I realized this, I was like, okay, so having a scale goal is not productive. Like, yes, ultimately I want to lose weight, but when I focus on the weight, I actually gain more weight. So maybe I need a new method that will help me lose weight without focusing so much on the weight. And so what I personally did was 2 things, okay? I put 2 goals. Number 1, do something active every day. Like, it doesn't have to be intense, it doesn't have to be hard, it doesn't have to be 30, it doesn't have to be 20 minutes. Do something active. It can be 5 minutes. My promise was I need to start any kind of activity. As long as I start, that's a win. So why I set that goal is because sometimes you're freaking tired, and thinking about doing a 20, 30, 45-minute workout is daunting and exhausting just thinking about it. But when you just say, all I need to do is start, and if I just do 1 minute, that's a win. I was able to trick my mind into just starting exercise every day. And yes, sometimes genuinely I would do a 2-minute workout and was like, all right, calling it quits. But it helped me be consistent so much more than when I would overwhelm myself with trying to do a 30 to 45-minute workout. So genuinely, this one was huge for me, because also when I work out, even if it's like 5 minutes, I feel a slight dopamine hit and I feel a little bit better about myself. And when I feel better about myself, I feel less of a need to binge eat and emotionally eat. So I found that just that goal in itself really helped me to help the binge eating, emotional eating cycle. So that was goal number 1. Goal number 2 was to plan what I was going to log what I was going to eat before I eat it. So why this helped is because even if I wanted ice cream, I would log it. I use MyFitnessPal personally. You can use any other tracking app. But I told myself, just log it. You can have it if it's like, it doesn't have to be a certain amount of calories. It doesn't have to be a certain amount of macros. Just log it. Just log it. And what that did was it told my mind that I was intentionally making this food choice, and I was owning that decision with confidence rather than pretending like it didn't happen, eating so quickly to trick your mind into thinking that you didn't eat it, right? It was like doing it in secret that made this whole process shameful. But when I logged it, it was declaring, I am consciously making this food decision right now. And it may not fit my goals, but that's okay. I'm consciously choosing to eat this, and I refuse to be shameful about that decision. But just logging it beforehand helped put me in a logical, less emotional state of, I'm eating this. This is what the nutrition facts are. It's neither good nor bad. It is what it is. And just taking the emotion out of food and really declaring that I was consciously and intentionally making this food decision, it made such a game changer in how I approach food and stopped fueling that good, bad food guilt cycle. And honestly, because I was able to stay in a less emotional and more logical state, eventually I was able to make food decisions that were more in line with my overall fitness goals and nutrition choices and focus on less junk processed food. But again, I had to start with allowing myself to eat whatever I wanted, but tracking it and logging it beforehand and declaring, this is what I'm going to eat. I am choosing this rather than, I'm not going to have it. I'm not going to have it. I'm not going to have it. Fuck it. Oh shit, what did I do? Oh my God, I'm terrible. You know what I mean? So I feel like even just explaining that may not fully make sense until you do it yourself. And again, it's really just owning, I'm going to make this decision and I am okay with that. I am okay with that. And pairing that with like making sure that you are not hyper focusing on the scale, or even taking a break from the scale can be very helpful. So you're not stressed about, oh my God, but if I eat this, am I going to gain a few pounds? Because again, that mindset is what's keeping you overweight in the first place. So yes, it may be higher in calories. Yes, maybe you gain a pound or two, but in the grand scheme of things, it's going to help you be less emotional about your food choices, have less guilt, which in the long run is going to help you lose weight overall. I promise you. Okay. So that was part one. And then part two that I said was work with your hunger. Work with your hunger. Okay. So I noticed that when I don't eat for a long period of time, which I tend to try to do, I would tend to binge eat and then not eat to compensate for those calories. You know what I'm talking about. And I would get to this point where I was so hungry. So then when I get super hungry, I would binge eat again because willpower's down, energy's low, and you're just like, oh my God, that looks good. It smells good. Screw it. I'm going to eat it. Right? Fuels the binge cycle. So the key that I'm really talking about is we need to stop doing things that are fueling the binge cycle. So if I let myself get hungry, I'm going to binge again. So when you binge, I know how much you want to not eat because you just ate a ton of calories, right? So you want to not eat, you want to starve yourself to compensate for those extra calories. I know how strong that desire is. I know very well. However, you have to remember what it does long term. And when you remember what it does long term, which literally just keeps you in the cycle, you need to say, hey, again, doing this hasn't got me the results I want. So what I'm going to do, even though I ate a shit ton of calories last night for dinner, I'm going to have a protein, fiber-packed breakfast, a protein and fiber-packed lunch, and I'm just going to continue making healthy decisions as best as I can and not let my binge eating, when I slip up, determine what my next steps are. Because that's being in a reactive state. And when we are in a reactive state, we do not make logical decisions. We make emotional decisions. And this whole binge eating, yo-yo dieting, restricting cycle it's an emotional cycle. That's all it is. It is an emotional cycle, and we don't know how to manage our emotions. So when you binge, you're going to want to starve yourself. That's your emotional side talking. But your logical side says, no, eat a healthy breakfast, eat a healthy lunch, get right back on track. We need to start listening to our logical side. That is where the key, that is genuinely where the Holy Grail is. And I speak from experience. I've had to really learn how to be detached and less emotional throughout all of this. Gain weight, discouraged as heck. Don't let that determine my decisions for the day. Binge eat. oh my God, I can't believe I did it again. Discouraged. Don't let that determine my decisions, because I know logically, if I want to get out of the cycle, I need to just focus on the daily healthy habits and in doing those habits that a person who doesn't struggle with binge eating would take, and continue to choose those habits more and more, and they will become more natural and more ingrained over time. But I have to choose them first, even if I don't feel like it, even if I don't want to right now. So ultimately, again, it was really acknowledging my emotional side, not judging her, really just wanting to understand her, but then taking the logical steps that I needed to get out of this yo-yo dieting cycle. And once I had that light bulb moment, I mean, my life has never been the same since. My fitness, my health, my confidence, like I feel so in control and in power of all of my healthy habits and my emotions. And like, I've never been able to say that. I am 28 right now. I've never been able to say that, but it was stop listening to that emotional side. Again, compassion, empathy, no judgment, but I'm going to put you to the side, and I'm going to take the side of my brain that knows what is best for her long term, and I'm going to listen to her. I'm going to start listening to her, because I know that this girl, the emotional girl, does not get me where I want to go. So that summarizes in a few short minutes what took me over 10 years to overcome. And this is actually what I do. This is what I work on specifically with my clients, helping them overcome the yo-yo dieting lifestyle cycle and finally find a sustainable, healthy lifestyle that helps them lose the weight, feel comfortable in their skin, finally, and finally feel in control of their nutrition, exercise, and emotional habits. So please like this video if you liked it. Leave a comment if there's anything more in depth that you want me to talk about. And if you want to find out more about my one-on-one coaching and my emotional eating yo-yo dieting program, then go to www.teamevolve.co and you'll find all the details there. If you want to follow me on social media for more nutrition, fitness, and lifestyle tips, then you can follow me either at Viv's Gym, VIVS Gym. That is where I mainly post nutrition and fitness tips. Or you can also follow me on my lifestyle account, where it's more behind the scenes of my real day-to-day life. And that is at VIVIANNNGO. But I really, truly hope that you found this video valuable, helpful. I hope you got some new insights, and I hope whatever did resonate with you, take on your journey, use it, use what works for you, and leave what doesn't. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.